Me, a 33-year-old woman, and my husband, a 38-year-old man, are generally happy, but we have an ongoing issue that affects me greatly. I would like some closure and an apology. He prefers to just move on and believes apologies are unnecessary. The issue is his parents and the way they behaved since we announced that I was pregnant and following the birth of our child. My own parents passed away during infection 19. Whatever happens, my husband consistently chooses his parents' side. We have spoken and fought about things, but even when he does see my point of view, he insists that I am not owed an apology. At most, he apologizes for his parents. Some of the problems are as follows. His parents wanted to visit for an extended period when the baby was born and book accommodation nearby our place. Our house is small. I am very introverted, and his parents can be loud and dominant. I immediately indicated I was not sure about this plan and that I would prefer to have some peace and quiet at first. I certainly did not want them there around my due date. My husband said he had told them as much, but when my father-in-law visited, my husband asked him to tell my mother-in-law that they had looked for accommodation. I was annoyed by this and confused since I was told that they would hold off. My father-in-law then proceeded to shout at me and said that this was not for me to decide. My husband stayed silent and spent the rest of the evening with his father. When the baby was born, my in-laws arrived for a visit while my husband was out. They proceeded to walk in without properly acknowledging me and lifted the baby from his bassinet to take a series of selfies. Not the end of the world, but I felt very uncomfortable. I talked about this to my husband, but he said he did not believe it. When I told him I thought it was hurtful that they never offered to get anything for the baby, he said they had sent him some money. He later admitted he lied about that. Following Christmas, we went to visit them in their house. They announced that they would not get up for the baby on any of the mornings. They did get up to babysit their other grandchildren and have done so for years, so it is not a case that they are too old. They also newly decorated an entire wall with pictures of the other grandchildren, but there was no picture of my son. He also did not receive a gift since he was too small. I pointed this out to my husband, but he said I was being childish. He later said he did notice it, but that he wanted to avoid a fight with me. I am a vegetarian, and we asked whether I should bring something to eat for Christmas dinner. We were told that other members of the family had also become vegetarian, so this would not be a problem. At Christmas dinner, chicken is served with some roasted vegetables. I am expected to simply not have any chicken. The other vegetarians were not vegetarian and never had been. My husband says this isn't personal. They wanted to visit, and I invited them to join us on a weekend away. They came along, and everything was fine but tense until my mother-in-law said my husband and son are lucky they have no other set of grandparents to deal with. I was hurt and eventually received an apology, claiming that obviously she didn't mean it and that I shouldn't be so sensitive. They announced well in advance of my child's first birthday that they would not be visiting, so we had no chance to invite them or make plans taking their schedule into account. Closer to the date, they did want to visit. We suggested they come the weekend following the child's birthday. However, they could not make that because they were looking after the other grandchildren. They said they would send a card. I told my husband I was not happy about this. He eventually spoke to his mother, who allegedly apologized. I only know that they then booked a visit for my husband's birthday. Throughout this, I am expected to pretend everything is all right. I stood up for myself and my own feelings, but with my husband always siding with them, I have stopped addressing it. My husband, meanwhile, refuses to talk to his parents and says my feelings are exaggerated. He does not think they owe me an apology. I am very hurt by all this. Am I being unreasonable? How can I get my husband to understand how it makes me feel? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. He's showing his real character now that you're trapped with a child. Before that, he knew you would, I hope, have walked away if he'd shown disrespectful behavior like this. Now he doesn't care. My advice is to have a long, hard think about whether you want to stay with a man who despises you and sees you as irrelevant in his family's life. This will be your situation for as long as you stay. Even after the in-laws pass away, he will still treat you poorly because this is how he thinks of you. Comment 2. You don't have an in-law problem, but a husband problem. And as you keep choosing to be with this man, you can only blame yourself. What a self-respecting person would do is tell her husband that either he prioritizes their family over his parents, or their relationship is over. If you choose to stay, then this is what your future life will be, always. Now, for the update. 2 weeks have passed since the last family gathering where my husband sided with his parents after their hurtful comments. I decided to host a small birthday party for my kid at our place, inviting close friends and family. I sent out invites saying no drama allowed, wanting to keep things positive. My in-laws RSVP'd super excited, saying they couldn't wait to celebrate their grandkid's birthday. The night before the party, I overheard my husband on the phone with his parents talking about the menu, which included my favorite dish. The day of the party, the living room was decorated with balloons and a homemade cake. My husband set up the patio for outdoor games while I finished getting snacks ready inside. The in-laws arrived early, and instead of saying anything nice about the setup, they immediately started moving the decorations around. I asked them if everything was all right, but they brushed me off, saying they were just helping. As guests arrived, the in-laws took over the conversation, ignoring my attempts to join in. During cake time, they insisted on taking photos with my kid, blocking me from being part of the moment. Frustrated, I decided to step outside for a breather, where I overheard my husband laughing with his parents about how awkward I was being. I went back to the party, determined to reclaim my space, and announced a game to get everyone involved. The in-laws rolled their eyes, clearly uninterested, but my friends jumped in super excited. The game had silly challenges which began to lighten the mood, and my kid was laughing. At one point, I teamed up with my kid, and we ended up winning a round, causing loud laughter among guests. The in-laws stayed distant, whispering among themselves. Toward the end of the party, I decided to make a toast, wanting to acknowledge my kid's special day. I thanked everyone for coming, but pointedly mentioned how much it meant to me to have supportive family and friends. After the toast, the in-laws tried to speak but were interrupted by my friends sharing funny stories about their own parenting struggles. When the party ended, the in-laws tried to talk to me, but I firmly stated I was tired and they should leave. They left annoyed, muttering about how the birthday party wasn't what they expected. A few days later, I was at the local grocery store and ran into a neighbor who mentioned seeing the in-laws at a restaurant nearby. The neighbor casually mentioned how the in-laws were talking about how they didn't care for my parenting choices. I decided to host another gathering, this time a dinner for just my close friends, intentionally excluding my in-laws. The dinner turned into a lively evening where we shared stories and laughter, creating a strong bond among my friends. The next week, my husband mentioned how his parents were upset they weren't invited and wanted to come over. I told him I needed some time to figure out how to handle their relationship, setting a boundary. This convo led to my husband realizing he needed to address the ongoing conflict with his parents. We agreed to meet for coffee the following weekend to talk about family stuff without the in-laws there. Mini update. The coffee meeting with my husband and his parents was tense but necessary. My husband spoke up about their behavior towards me, and to my surprise, they apologized. They also expressed a desire to start fresh. I was cautious but agreed to this, hoping for a better relationship moving forward. Am I the idiot for wearing a gym outfit my boyfriend hated and sparking a public argument? I have been dating my significant other for 2 years and a few months now. I have never been happy with my body or the way I look, but somehow to him I am the most beautiful person in the world. Recently, I have been losing weight and commented that once I look a little better, I would want to buy one of those 2-piece gym outfits from Lululemon, the ones that are a pink tank top and pink shorts. But he got very upset with me and told me not to wear it ever because it's not appropriate, too revealing, not respectful to him, and will get the wrong attention from men. He told me that those types of clothing are not even acceptable to be worn at gyms and that his girlfriend would never wear that. I argued with him and told him that he can't control what I wear and that I want to do it for myself because I deserve to dress in something I have been seeing other girls wear and have dreamed it was me for years now. No matter what I say, he doesn't understand, and at times even implies that if I am arguing so much and being so defensive, it's because I really want to get the unwanted attention. He has sent me multiple videos of men and women talking about how unacceptable and disrespectful it is for a woman to not listen to their partners and show themselves off with revealing clothing. I want to explain to him and make him understand that I just want to see happiness in myself and that I am not disrespecting him. But nothing works. Any tips? Additionally, 2 years ago when my boyfriend and I met, he saved my life. Not in a figurative way, he actually stopped me from taking my own life and was with me through the whole process of getting out of grief and becoming a kinder person to myself and who I am. We are from different countries and grew up with totally different lives, where I was taught from a young age to do things for myself and not depend on others, whether man or woman, for my own safety, while he learned the total opposite, that he has a role and needs to fulfill that role. I understand that when I come here and present a problem and say fix it, people only see one side of it that I provided, so it's all on me. He has taught me a lot, and I have taught him a lot too. Both of us came to this relationship with past issues, I with my loneliness and he with abuse in past relationships. I do see that his reaction might be connected to his upbringing and past abuse. Unfortunately, I still have a hard time communicating because the language he speaks is not even my second language, so it's hard to express my thoughts clearly. Like Gloria from Modern Family being very smart in Spanish. It's just hard to explain to him, and I feel bad because I get frustrated and blow up when I shouldn't, and he doesn't deserve that, you know? I understand people saying that there's nothing I can say to make him understand, or that he understands but just doesn't care. But is there really nothing I can do to help? I truly believe I can at least make him less uncomfortable about it, you know? And for those who say to not accommodate myself and simply change the fact that I have been wishing to be like the other girls around me and feel pretty in my gym clothes, no, I won't change my choice to wear what I want. I just want to find a way to help him not feel uncomfortable about it because I truly love him. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, your edit has not changed my mind. Know why? Because someone can save your life and still be a controlling jerk. He can be two things at once. In fact, it's actually extremely common for controlling jerks to appear like the perfect guy for a while. They do it on purpose because they know you'll stay no matter how bad they get, waiting for that perfect man to come back. He showed you who he is. If you choose to stay, that's on you. But this magical solution you're hoping for, where everything works out how you want, that's not going to happen. Your choices are to accept that this is who he is or leave. Comment 2. He listened to you. He understands. He doesn't care. Nothing you say or do is going to change his mind, because it's not about respect, it's about control. Respect is a two-way street. Sis, take it from this old auntie. Life is too short for putting up with these men. Wear what you want and be happy. Now for the update. 2 days after the last argument, I decided to wear the gym outfit to a yoga class. I was like, screw it. I still want to wear stuff that makes me feel good, and this outfit is cute, so I'm going to wear it. I left on this outfit, and as I was walking out the door, my boyfriend confronted me. He said the outfit was too revealing. I was like, well, I don't think so. Plus, I feel confident and happy in it. I thought we had already gone over this, but apparently, it was a continuous conversation. He told me that I could find another outfit that was more, in quotes, appropriate. Oh, you mean an outfit that you would approve of? So I went to class, hoping to enjoy some yoga, but I just couldn't focus. All I could think about was the tension with my boyfriend and how this constant battle was draining. I was in class, and one of the guys complimented my outfit. I mean, it was bound to happen, right? My boyfriend came in midway through the class, and he was visibly upset. He pulled me aside after class and accused me of trying to get attention. He was like, "Were you flirting with anyone?" He was so loud about it. We ended up having an argument in the parking lot, and people were staring. It was super awkward. He left in anger that day, saying he needed time to think. So I went home and was just frustrated about the whole thing. Later that evening, he texted me saying he needed space. I mean, we had already been giving each other space, but okay. I got a message from his brother asking if everything was okay. He mentioned that he had overheard our argument, which was super awkward. A few days later, my boyfriend came back, but the tension was still there. We attended a family dinner at his parents' house, and during dinner, his mom made a comment about my outfit choices. It was awkward. My boyfriend looked uncomfortable but didn't say anything to defend me. Then, his dad asked about my career ambitions. My boyfriend just abruptly changed the subject, and it caused this strange silence. Later, he accused me of embarrassing him in front of his family. I was like, what? I didn't do anything wrong. He suggested we should focus more on our relationship and less on personal choices. I mean, what does that even mean? The tension continued, and every time we were around his family, he didn't say anything good about my clothing. I decided I would wear what I felt comfortable in, regardless of his disapproval. One weekend, we went to a local fair with his family, and his sister noticed my outfit and asked for fashion advice. My boyfriend reacted with irritation, saying his sister should dress more conservatively. I mean, how do you give fashion advice when you're saying that? I tried to lighten the mood by joking about fashion choices, but my boyfriend snapped at me to stop making jokes. After the fair, I confronted him about his behavior. He accused me of not understanding his culture and how it shaped his views. He said that I was being insensitive. He suggested we should take a break to figure things out. Days went by with no communication, and I started reflecting on my future. Ultimately, he called, but it was just to say he was dating someone else. The relationship ended, leaving me with a ton of unanswered questions about my identity. I decided it was time to focus on personal growth and self-expression. Mini update. My ex-boyfriend's brother and I have become good friends since the breakup. He helped me through a lot, and now we're casually dating. It's been nice to feel supported again. Am I the idiot for exposing my cheating fiancée online after she tried to downplay her betrayal? Last September, my partner and I bought a house. On moving day, as I was packing up her desk and computer for the U-Haul, I saw a notification that made me suspicious. I clicked on it and discovered she had sent old explicit content of herself to an online friend. I was devastated and ended up confronting her with a photo. She tried to downplay it while at work. I wanted to cancel the house deal, but it was too late, so I decided to give her another chance. I had a custom engagement ring made, and once we were settled in the house, I told her that if she wanted to wear the ring, she needed to cut off contact with that online friend. By January, when I asked about her previous actions, she claimed it was a mistake, but her behavior made me uneasy. I noticed she was interacting with the same person again, albeit less intensely. I discovered that she had been communicating with another person since 2021, with many inappropriate comments exchanged. More recently, she sent a video of herself in revealing clothing to this person. It was upsetting to see that this happened while I was nearby. Her prior excuse seemed even less valid given this new information. After discovering more messages, I told her I was done and didn't trust her. We talked about it, but the next day she seemed to act as though everything was normal. She had a therapy session, and her therapist suggested she might have Asperger's syndrome, which might explain some of her social difficulties and behavior. The focus of our discussions then shifted to her potential diagnosis rather than my feelings. I felt that my concerns were being overlooked. She wanted me to join her in therapy to discuss our issues. During a session, she brought up a text message between me and my ex-wife, who was in a domestic violence situation. I had been supportive, but was accused of neglecting our current relationship, even though my fiancé was the one who wanted me to make sure she did the right thing and went to the police, etc., when I did not want to get involved. In therapy, we discussed differences in perception and behavior, particularly related to Asperger's. I questioned if someone with Asperger's would know the difference between right and wrong, which led to a discussion after therapy. I talked about her opinions on how I should act when a woman talks or approaches me based on insinuations that she's made, which tells me she does know the difference. She blurts out, "I did not cheat on you," and I say, "Yes, you did. You emotionally cheated on me on multiple occasions." She then says it again. I then say, "I'm done. It's over." At this point, I am hungry and tired. I had ordered some food from a delivery service. I decide to eat it and play some games to take my mind off this. The next day, it's like I had said nothing. Now for an update. The next day, she called to say the conversation wasn't over. I feel exhausted and manipulated, and it seems like my feelings and choices are being ignored. I've told her I don't deserve this, and she agrees, but she continues to put me through emotional turmoil. Friends say I look drained, and I'm struggling to understand why this continues. I've tried. How do I move my feelings forward when my feelings aren't being heard? Now for a few comments before the update. I told her that if she wanted to wear the ring, she needed to cut off contact with that online friend. By January, when I asked about her previous actions, she claimed it was a mistake, but her behavior made me uneasy. I noticed she was interacting with the same person again, albeit less intensely. She doesn't care about what you say because you don't act like you care about what you say. Boundaries only matter if you are willing and able to enforce them when they are crossed. Moving into a house together and being engaged is the opposite of enforcing boundaries. Instead, you are rewarding her poor behavior and ruining yourself in the process. Choosing the wrong partner can be super draining, emotionally, mentally, and physically. You gave her 2 chances. At this point, you know she doesn't see what she did as wrong. She lacks empathy, and you feel unsupported. Do you want that for life? Really think about it. She won't change. She's already excusing her behavior. Now for the update. I'm now a week out from breaking up with my ex, and man, it's been crazy. She's been acting like nothing even happened, which just adds to the confusion. Like, am I on a hidden camera show or something? Anyway, I decided I needed a break from all this nonsense, so I booked a weekend trip to a cabin with some friends to clear my head. Getting out of my place felt so refreshing. The second my friends picked me up, I could feel the weight starting to lift. We drove out, blasting music, and I was just trying to forget all this crap. During the trip, I got a text from my ex asking to talk, but I just ignored it. My friends were all about me focusing on myself and having some fun. We went hiking, played games, and just spent time by the fire. I tried not to think about the mess I was in. After the trip, I got back home, and there was a letter from my ex slipped under the door. It was like this whole thing begging for another chance. I just tossed it aside and felt so frustrated. Like, how many chances does one person get? Days later, I went to a holiday party at work, hoping to immerse myself in something social. Just a night where I could be around people and not feel like my life was a disaster. At the party, I ran into this coworker, Michael, who used to date my ex. It was random. We talked about work stuff. Then he casually mentioned that he had seen my ex out with someone new recently. My ears perked up, and I wanted all the details, so I asked him for everything he knew. Michael said he saw her at a local bar, just laughing and being all affectionate. It was like a light bulb went off, and I thought, I need to check this out for myself. The next weekend, I went to the bar Michael had mentioned, just hoping to see what was going on. I walked in, and there she was, sitting at a table with this stranger I didn't recognize. They looked so comfortable, laughing and leaning in close. I felt a surge of anger like, here we go again. I walked up to the table and called out her name. She looked shocked, and the stranger's eyes went wide. I asked why she was at the bar with someone else, trying to keep my voice steady. She started stuttering, coming up with this excuse about being friends. The stranger awkwardly excused themselves, sensing the tension. Then my ex and I started exchanging heated words. She was denying any wrongdoing, as usual. I pulled out my phone and showed her the texts from Michael about what he saw. She got all defensive, claiming it was just a misunderstanding. At that point, I was done with all the lies. I just walked away, leaving her confused and frustrated. The next day, I decided to vent a little on social media and posted about my experience, tagging her and the bar. It was a long post detailing the whole betrayal. The post went viral among our mutual friends, and things got super messy. People were commenting and sharing their own experiences with her. She sent me multiple messages begging me to take the post down. My friends rallied around me, supporting my decision to expose her. It felt good. I wasn't the only one. Her reputation took a hit, and I started getting awkward encounters at work and social events. The post did its job, and I started moving on. I even got messages from others who had similar experiences with her. A week later, she finally reached out in desperation, asking to meet in person. I agreed, but only to discuss the future and set boundaries. I wasn't about to get roped in again. When we met, she apologized a lot, but I stayed firm. She offered to change, but I just decided to end all contact. I blocked her on social media and on my phone. I wasn't going back. I was done. The post had done its job, and I was ready to start anew. If anything crazy happens, like her trying to weasel her way back into my life, or more drama with the coworkers, I'll make sure to update. I feel like this can't be the end of it, right? Edit. After the post, my ex tried to contact my boss and my family, claiming I was harassing her. My boss just forwarded her emails to me for a laugh. I also learned she was claiming she had a new boyfriend to make me jealous. But I don't care. I'm blocking her everywhere. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.